When the world was on the verge of a mechanical revolution, a young boy's fascination with machines ignited a flame that would reshape the automotive landscape forever. Ferdinand Porsche, a name synonymous with innovation, speed, and the relentless pursuit of engineering excellence. While his success was worth celebrating, it was unfortunate that he didn't live long enough to see how far his inventions would go, as his involvement in certain dealings related to his automobile skills ended up costing his life. Let's go back to where it all began. Chapter 1. A small village. Born on September 3, 1875, in Maffersdorf, a small village in what is now the Czech Republic, losing his elder brother at the age of 14 made Ferdinand drop out of school to help his father's blacksmith business as the oldest son. However, Ferdinand wasn't cut for the business, as he was more passionate about electricity and displayed an uncanny ability to comprehend the inner workings of machines. Although this didn't sit well with the father, after seeing Ferdinand's electrical work around the house, the father had no choice but to support him. Chapter 2. His firsts. At the young age of 15, Ferdinand Porsche embarked on his journey in the world of engineering as an apprentice at the Baylor-Egger Electrical Company. Under the severe and proper guidance of his superiors, Porsche built the first electric-wheeled motor. It was during this time that the first electric motors were invented, creating a spark of excitement for the people and the electrical and mechanical industry. After 5 years of working for Baylor-Egger, Ferdinand's engineering talents soon led him to Jacob Lohner and Company, an Austrian manufacturer known for its electric vehicles. At Lohner, Porsche's innovative ideas began to flourish. In 1898, he made the first electric automobile named the Porsche P1. Although this vehicle resembled a horse carriage, it was a car with a revolutionary motor. After a few years, Porsche moved on to join Austro-Daimler, an Austrian subsidiary of the German Daimler Motorengesellschaft, and in 1908, Porsche constructed the first petrol vehicle, the Austro-Daimler Maya. In no time, Porsche experienced his big break in the sports car industry, which led to the creation of the Austro-Daimler Prince Henry in 1910, a sports car celebrated for its performance, top speed, and innovative features. Chapter 3. Porsche and the Nazis. One of Ferdinand Porsche's most notable contributions before founding Porsche was his involvement in the creation of the Volkswagen Beetle. The 1930s saw the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party in Germany, and it was during this period that Porsche's path cut across with Hitler's ambitions. In 1934, Porsche presented his concept for a people's car, which would eventually become the Volkswagen Beetle. The car was visualized as affordable, practical, and accessible for a large part of the population. Hitler embraced this idea and saw the potential for its utilization in furthering his political goals. While working on this project, Porsche involved his only son, FERRY Porsche, who had a flair for cars and innovations like his father. From that point on, father and son worked together. As World War II escalated, the production of Volkswagen was put on hold, and Porsche's engineering expertise was harnessed for military applications. Despite being a close ally to Hitler, Porsche could not design the exact tank idea Hitler was after, losing the design contest to Henschel. Porsche found himself in a deep mess after this loss because he had already produced about 100 chassis before even submitting his prototype. Without allowing his designs to go to waste, the Germans turned the heavy tanks into tank destroyers called the Elephants. The complicated design of these tanks' engines made them lose on the battlefield. On top of that, there were so many accusations against Porsche's company, saying they used slave labor in their factories. Despite their denials, they later admitted to their crimes, following the rise in accusations from their workers. Porsche didn't necessarily agree with the inhumane practices of the Nazis. He was only interested in growing his business by supplying whatever they needed. Chapter 4. Detained by the French. Following Germany's defeat in 1945, Ferdinand Porsche faced charges of war crimes and was detained by the French authorities because of his relationship with Adolf Hitler. He spent nearly 2 years in prison before his release due to health reasons. While he was in prison, his son ensured that the Porsche company stayed afloat. Like his father, FERRY was a genius in the automobile industry, building several vehicles with impressive innovations that stood out. During WW11, he built the Schwimmwagen, a swimming car that worked on land and water, and this was of great service to the German soldiers. Nevertheless, His contribution during the war also got him arrested alongside his father. However, he was released after a few months to find the bail money for his father. In search of the money, FERRY took over the managerial control of the company and came in alliance with an Italian auto company called CISITALIA, where he built the CISITALIA 360. Even though this car was advanced for its time, the car never made it to the racetrack, but luckily, FERRY had been paid for his services and he was able to bail his father out from prison. Unfortunately, Ferdinand's health had deteriorated and nothing could be done about it until he passed on January 30th, 1951. Chapter 5. FERRY takes over. By 1948, FERRY Porsche had navigated the tumultuous aftermath of the war and commenced the production of his automotive creation, christened the Porsche 356. This was the first production car to carry the Porsche nameplate. It was a lightweight and agile sports car that captured the essence of Porsche's engineering philosophy, combining performance, design, and practicality. The 356's victory in the race organized in Innsbruck, Austria paved the way for Porsche to establish itself as a symbol of precision engineering and driving pleasure in the racing world. After winning a race at Le Mans in 1951, the sales for the 356 skyrocketed, and this led to the production of other models. However, the outer design of all the models seemed alike, and the customers wanted something different. FERRY's son stepped in to proffer a solution that influenced the design of Porsche vehicles positively and took the brand to a new level. Chapter 5. An unexpected handover. Ferdinand Alexander Porsche, like his father, had an interest in the automobile industry. However, his passion was in design, and he joined the team to create a new vehicle, the Porsche 911. In September 1964, the Porsche 911 was introduced to the public and within a few years became the company's best seller. The 911 debuted on the racetrack in 1965, taking 5th place. After some improvements in its performance, Porsche recorded more victories in different racing competitions from 1968 to 1970. Thereafter, the new model maintained its winner status in different championships, placing Porsche as one of the best sports car companies in the world. During this time, FERRY retired from his role in the company, and unfortunately, none of his sons were interested in taking over the position. As such, the family decided to take a step back from the managerial position and allow someone else to handle it. But before then, they split the company's shares. Despite being known as one of the most successful sports car companies in the world at that time, Porsche faced a big challenge that took a toll on the company. The dollar exchange rate dropped in 1986, and this affected the production of their vehicles, and by 1991, their sales dropped drastically. These losses almost shut the company down as they were almost bankrupt. To stay afloat, they announced that they were diverting into the manufacture of SUVs. However, despite the rising popularity of SUVs at that time, this idea attracted a lot of criticism because the company had already built a standard of manufacturing high-quality cars for both normal and sports use. None of the cars they produced ever had 4 doors. Their critics feared that the brand would lose its high-value significance if they ventured into aspects of the automobile business. Irrespective of the criticism, Porsche went on to manufacture and introduce the Porsche Cayenne 2002, which became a bestseller for most families. Impressively, Porsche didn't fail to incorporate the best features from their previous vehicles into this model. Seeing how luxurious, reliable, and high-performing this car was, its sales skyrocketed and became Porsche's savior from bankruptcy. Till this moment, Porsche has maintained its name as a luxury car brand in the world, and even though it is now owned by the Volkswagen Group, it continues to produce different models of both SUVs and sports cars, satisfying the needs of its clients around the globe. This is the story of Porsche, a poor boy who built the first electric-wheeled motor, which is quite similar to the story of a poor Japanese boy who expanded from a wooden shack manufacturing bicycle motors to a multinational automobile and motorcycle manufacturer, Honda. If you want to know more about him, just click here, and I will see you over there. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one.